Turning now to campaign 2014, there's less than 2 weeks to Election Day, and a new poll released today by Brown University shows a clear leader in the race for Rhode Island governor. According to the poll, Democrat Gina Raimondo is in the lead with 42%, 11 points ahead of Republican Alan Fung. Moderate Robert Healey is a distant third with 9%, but 18% of voters polled say they are still undecided. Independents Kate Fletcher and Leon Karian received less than 1% combined. That same poll also has some surprising results in the Providence mayoral race. Democrat Jorge Elorza holds a 10-point lead over independent Vincent Buddy Cianci, with Republican Daniel Harrop a distant third with just 3% of the vote. About 10% are still undecided.
Now we turn to new developments in campaign 2014. A new poll is telling us where Rhode Island voters stand in some of the key races you may not have heard much about. Eyewitness News reporter Ted Nesi joins us now with more on the poll. Now, Brown University, Ted, asked 1,000 Rhode Island voters who they were backing. What stood out to you in this latest poll?
One big headline, Mike, the race for lieutenant governor, and just how few Rhode Islanders have made up their minds with 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, till the election. Let's take a look here. Democrat Daniel McKee in the lead for lieutenant governor, but with only 29% of the vote. Catherine Taylor, the Republican, behind him at 20%. But the big number there is the bottom one on your screen. Nearly half of voters, 47%, haven't made up their minds yet. So with that many voters undecided, both lieutenant governor candidates have a big opportunity to persuade them in these final days. And they're actually both going to debate on WPRI 12's Newsmakers next week if voters need to hear more from them.
You know, the last couple of weeks, I've heard a lot about the general treasurer's race. What do you make about the numbers here?
Yeah, that's an office that's been getting in the news more. No surprise in this one. The Brown poll finds Democrat Seth Magaziner with a strong lead of 47% over independent Ernie Almonte, who has 33%. And here we have 20% of voters still undecided, still enough to make an impact. Treasurer's office obviously in the news with the pension overhaul. Magaziner says new ideas are needed. Almonte's running on his experience.
What about the Secretary of State's race? That's been probably the quietest out of all of them, right?
I'd agree with you, Mike. And in this one, it has been in the news because of our Target 12 investigation into 38 Studios lobbying violations. And now this is the, right now, Nellie Gorbea in the lead to take over that. She's the Democrat. She has 38% of the vote. John Carlivali, the Republican, has 23%. And again, many, many voters undecided for Secretary of State, 39%. Clear difference in that race. Gorbea is against Rhode Island's new voter ID law. Carlivali running hard on the idea of keeping it, but she has a huge financial advantage and is the heavy favorite.
A lot can change in the next week and a half, correct?
Absolutely. We're going to see a lot more ads. We're going to see a few more debates with all these candidates, and some voters may even go into the ballot booth that day not knowing too much and deciding on the fly.
All right, Ted, thank you very much. And you can read more about the poll and the results in Ted's in-depth story. It's on WPRI.com. There we also find our Eyewitness News Voters Guide with information on all the candidates that are seeking your vote.